Hey there, blues fans. John here with the Blues Guitar Institute. This is your Tuesday Blues lesson number 136. In this lesson, we're going to continue talking about Mississippi Hill Country blues, and specifically, we're going to take a look at a rhythm style from RL Burnside, one of that particular subgenre's absolute masters. He is a true gem, and you've definitely got to check out his stuff. Now, I am tuned to open G tuning, so I'm tuned D on the low string, and then we move to G, D again, G again, and then B, and then D again. So that is a nice open G tuning. And it's really going to come in handy to get a lot of chord tones going as we're doing this strumming. So without further ado, let's get right into today's lesson. We're going to build this thing step by step and really make sure that you can get this rhythm in the pocket and up to speed. To get started, we're going to break things down to its simplest form, and that is the pulse, the 1, 2, 3, 4 count of each bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But what we are going to do is accentuate beat 2 and 4 with a snare pop sort of sound, which is caused mostly by just kind of crashing the palm down, really just kind of straight in toward your body and letting the strings kind of snap against the fretboard. And you'll see RL play kind of in this territory, kind of above where the sound hole is, and that kind of helps this snap sound really come alive. So you may want to kind of shift from playing over the sound hole to here. And you've got this bass, and then you've got the bass with the snare sort of pop. And the thing is, the thumb still strums through on that. So it's not just this, it's not that, it's this. Notice how my thumb is still going on every beat. That's really what you're looking for. And keep in mind, my fret hand is nowhere on the fretboard, so I'm not even doing any muting here. This is entirely with your picking hand. And when you really want to get into it, you can really just kind of dig in and get that snare sound to really just kind of pop out front and center. My suggestion to you is that to get started with this and really become proficient at it is to start with just this little combination. It's actually quite difficult, even though there's just these, playing on the beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually quite difficult to get that groove happening. The next thing that we want to do is layer in this upstroke that's happening on the offbeats. So we're still going to keep our 1, 2, 3, 4 going, where we've kind of got that kick snare deal happening, but we're going to do this brush stroke on strings 3 and 4 on some of the offbeats. It sounds like this. So the index finger is definitely busy there filling in. And the pattern is we're going to do our bass and then upstroke and then the bass with the snare. So kind of think of it as kick, upstroke, snare. And that's just the first part of the pattern. From there, we'll fill it out to sound like this. So we'll do up, down, up, followed by a snare. And then that little bit, that up, down, up snare, kind of repeats itself, and that just kind of establishes the main rhythmic pattern for this entire piece. The only difference in that first beat is that we really just start on the downbeat, the 1. And then we do this little bit that repeats. So let's slow this down quite a bit and really watch for these upstrokes and see what's happening here. If you can really focus on the index finger just kind of pulling through and when it's happening. That is tremendously important here. Then once you can, really focus on practicing this at a higher tempo. The faster you get this, the more fun it becomes, and the rhythm just tends to become alive. Now there's a point of diminishing return here where you're going too fast, but as long as you can play this perfectly and in the pocket, speeding it up is definitely going to sound pretty cool. Next thing we want to do is start adding in a couple of little notes on the fretboard here. And the first thing to do that's kind of on the easy side is just a quick little bass pull off from the 3rd fret to the open on the 5th string. Notice that that pull-off has to start when you're playing one of the 1 or the 3 beats, right? You can't do it while you're doing that, muting it out. So it really happens on the 1 beat. And it's just a simple pull-off. And you're just pulling off, and then when you pull off, index finger is coming up and brushing up through the strings 3 and 4. So that's kind of what you're looking for. And the pull-off can be faster, like that, or it can be with the upstroke. Try both, just for a little bit of variation. After getting that bass note introduced on the fretboard, we're going to introduce some melodic notes from the higher strings here. We're going to start out on this 2nd string and kind of play with the notes here that sound good. This 1st fret on the 2nd string sounds really good. That's a C note because this thing's still tuned to B. So there's our C, and then our D sounds really good at the 3rd fret. So we'll put something together that might sound a little bit like this, remembering that we're going to do this pull-off move on the 3rd fret on the 5th string. And all I'm doing there is, instead of brushing up with my index finger through strings 3, 4, I'm actually pulling through strings now on the 1st fret on this C note here, but I'm pulling through the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th string. And really, if I don't hit that 4th string, no biggie, I really want these 2 strings 2 and 3, to come alive. It's just 2 brush strokes right there next to each other. From there, we can start extending this and moving this melody along and really play with these notes here and just create our own little melody, something that might actually turn into a song for you. And then, a couple of other notes that we can reach and grab would be this on the 1st string, and again you just kind of move your brush up to include that 1st string, and of course the 1st string on the 5th fret sounds nice as well, that actually being a G G note. So here's what happens when we bring all of these elements together. I hope you really enjoyed this lesson, but if you're looking for a place just to get started with acoustic blues, then I highly recommend taking the Acoustic Blues Jumpstart from BGI. The first 3 lessons are absolutely free, and you can sign up on bluesguitarinstitute.com. These 3 lessons are designed to give you some of the fundamentals of acoustic blues that will serve you well no matter if you want to play Delta blues, Piedmont blues, Mississippi Hill Country blues, whatever style. Even if you want to move into the electric side, this stuff is vitally important to get down. So check out the Acoustic Blues Jumpstart and get started learning the blues today.